Judge Lake. Hello, everyone. Audience, good morning. Judge Lake. This is the case of Miller versus Rasmussen. Thank you, Jerome. Ms. Miller, you're here today to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Scotty Rasmussen, that he is not the biological father of your 3-year-old daughter, Zaylee Rasmussen. Miller. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Lake. You say you've been battling for custody for quite some time and have filed multiple petitions for a DNA test, all of which were denied. Miller. That's correct, Your Honor. Judge Lake. Mr. Rasmussen, you claim the real reason Ms. Miller says you're not Zaylee's father is because she hates you. Rasmussen. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Lake. You say you've been there for your daughter from day one, and you're here to prove you are her father. Rasmussen. Absolutely, Your Honor. Judge Lake. So, why do you think Ms. Miller's saying you're not the father? Rasmussen. Honestly, Your Honor, I think it's just pure hate. She doesn't want me to have visitation. I drive 160 miles every other weekend to pick up and drop off my daughter. That's over 10,000 miles, real wear and tear on my car. She doesn't even have a driver's license or a way to meet me halfway. Judge Lake. You're saying she hates you? Rasmussen. Yes, ma'am. Judge Lake. Why would she hate you? Rasmussen. Because when our relationship got rocky, I'll admit, I went to another woman. That was my mistake. Judge Lake. Ms. Miller, is that true? Miller. No, Your Honor, not really. Judge Lake. What's your side of it? Miller. He cheated on me almost the entire relationship. I don't hate him for it, but I definitely lost respect for him. Judge Lake. He says this is about visitation, that he loves his daughter, but you're blocking him. Is that true? Miller. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Lake. Why? Miller. Because I believe the only reason he wants visitation is so he can claim her on his taxes. Rasmussen. That's the farthest thing from the truth. I want visitation because my daughter means the world to me. Judge Lake. Well, if he's driving 160 miles every other weekend, whatever tax credit he gets, he's spending in gas. Rasmussen. I pay child support too. Your Honor, here are my receipts. I even pay extra administrative fees. Judge Lake. You pay about $50 a week? Rasmussen. Just under that, plus a $3 fee per payment and $60 a year to the state. Judge Lake. So, Ms. Miller, if he's paying and visiting, what's this really about? Miller. Because I still don't believe he's her father. Judge Lake. All right, let's talk about that. You don't think he's the biological father. Why? Miller. When she was conceived, March 2011, he wasn't even in the same state. He was in Las Vegas. I was with someone else at the time because he had broken up with me after cheating. Judge Lake. So, there was another man during the time of conception? Miller. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Lake. But clearly Mr. Rasmussen thought he was the father. He's paying support, driving miles to visit, and the child carries his last name. Rasmussen. That's right, Your Honor. Judge Lake. Mr. Rasmussen. When were you first told you might not be the father? Rasmussen. About 5 or 6 months after Zaylee was born. We were in family court discussing custody when Ms. Miller suddenly said another man might be the father. Someone in court did the math and said that would have been a 10-month pregnancy, which didn't add up. Later, I checked our messages, Facebook posts, and notes, and realized Zaylee was conceived in March, a normal 9-month timeline. Judge Lake. So, up until Zaylee was 5 or 6 months old, you believed you were her only possible father? Rasmussen. Absolutely. We were together. I was there for everything. Judge Lake. You signed a birth certificate? Rasmussen. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Lake. And you were at the birth? Rasmussen. From start to finish. I rushed from work through snow to make it in time. Even beat her to the hospital. I stayed there until she and the baby were discharged. Miller. That's not true. He left the room after she was born, gone for about 20 minutes. And while I was in labor, he was on his computer, ignoring me. Rasmussen. I was nervous and trying to calm down. I wasn't ignoring her. Judge Lake. Ms. Miller. He seems like he was excited to be a father. Miller. I didn't see that, Your Honor. Judge Lake. Yet, you let him sign the birth certificate? Miller. We were engaged. I thought we'd get married and raise our daughter together. until I found out he'd been cheating the entire time. Judge Lake, where's the other possible father now? Miller, I don't know. He disappeared, changed his number, and moved away. I tried finding him, but couldn't. Judge Lake, you say Mr. Rasmussen cheated, but you also admit being with another man. Miller, we weren't together then, Your Honor. I was single. Judge Lake, yet, despite that, Mr. Rasmussen kept stepping up through the pregnancy, birth, custody hearings, and visitation. Miller, yes, Your Honor. Judge Lake, why didn't you tell him sooner there might be another father? Miller, I told him at our first court date. But as my daughter grew, I started noticing she looked more like the other guy. Judge Lake, Mr. Rasmussen, you brought photos? Rasmussen, yes. Here's one of Zaylee and one of me when I was 3. Judge Lake, looking, you think she looks like you? Rasmussen, absolutely, same chin, same dimples. Miller, no, Your Honor. She looks like the other man. Judge Lake, Ms. Miller, you're receiving child support from Mr. Rasmussen, yet you claim he's not the father. Have you asked the court to stop the child support order? Miller, I told him if he'd just sign over his rights, he wouldn't have to pay anymore. Rasmussen, I'm not giving up that easy. I know she's mine, and I'm fighting for her. Audience applauding. Judge Lake, Mr. Rasmussen, what visitation do you have now? Rasmussen, every other weekend. It took months of supervised visits, park meetings, and gradual overnights to get here. Judge Lake, how's your relationship with Zaylee? Rasmussen, amazing. Every visit, I try to make it special, even if I'm broke after paying child support and gas. We go fishing, to the park, little adventures. Every memory counts. Judge Lake, have you prepared yourself for both outcomes? That you are or are not her father? Rasmussen, I've tried, but if she's not mine, I don't know how I'll handle it. She's my whole world. Judge Lake, Jerome, let's have the results. Jerome, here you go, Your Honor. Judge Lake, these results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Miller versus Rasmussen, when it comes to 3-year-old Zaylee Rasmussen, Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father. Miller, gasps. Judge Lake, Ms. Miller, be respectful. Miller, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Judge Lake, that takes a lot of nerve, cheering, when the other possible father doesn't even want anything to do with you or your child. Miller, I'm sorry. Judge Lake, you were cheering. And this man's heart is breaking because he loves that little girl. I see women in here every day begging a man to drive even 16 miles to see their child. This man drove 160 miles each way. And you sit here smiling, cheering? What are you celebrating, being a single mother with no father for your child? Miller, no, Your Honor. Judge Lake, he's over there shattered. And you can't even show compassion? Not just for him, but for Zaylee. She's 3 years old. Now he's heartbroken, and we have to explain this to that child someday. This isn't a game. This is a little girl's life. And when I asked about the other man, you said, I don't know. You know he wants in.